It's curious that the history of this island illustrates why it's necessary to have a World Economic Conference. In the 9th century, this island was the headquarters of a Viking raider named Angell, who came up that estuary, raided these coasts, loaded up his ships with grain and cattle and corn and vestments from the monasteries, and sailed back home. In those days, in order to defend wealth, we had to prevent foreigners taking away our materials. We've still got to defend wealth, but not by preventing foreigners taking away our materials. It's a quite different problem, and that's easily proved. You see those ships, idle great liners laid up there, because the international trade which keeps them busy has been cut down by 2/3 this last year or two. Suppose we were to take them and return Angell's visit and load them up in the Baltic with butter and bacon and bring them back here. Do you know what would happen? Well, I'll tell you what would happen. As those ships approached these shores loaded with butter and bacon and dairy produce, every member in the House of Commons sitting for an agricultural constituency would rise in his place to demand a tariff to keep those things out. You see, wealth in the modern world, materials in the modern world are only wealth if you can get rid of them. The miner can't eat his coal, nor clothe his children with it. If it is to mean food and clothing, he must sell it, get rid of it, that is, to someone who has money, who can only get money by getting rid of his materials to someone who has money, who can only get money by getting rid of his materials, and so on round the world. Wealth in the modern world depends on keeping that process going, keeping the traffic moving on the commercial highways of the world, as it were, seeing that there are no collisions, no congestions like those caused by the maldistribution of monetary gold. But if that traffic is to be kept moving, it is impossible if each drives on the highway as he sees fit. There must be general rules, and the World Economic Conference has been called to make those rules. It may not have very great results at first, but even if it failed, we should have to call another in order to get something like a stable money. And ultimately, of course, all these great conferences, disarmament, economic, debts, reparations, will be welded into one to become what will be, in fact, whether we give it that name or not, the Parliament of the world.